Well, again, like those Krispy Kreme is kind of wicked.
Have you ever had a Krispy Kreme donut? They're delicious. I'll admit personally, they're not my absolute favorite place to get donuts, but based on everyone's reaction to them, I feel like I'm in the minority here. Don't get me wrong, they're good. Just look at these things. You can tell they're good just by looking at them. But everything I come across
I think it's wicked as fuck.
describes them as unbelievable.
Man, this is one of the greatest inventions ever.
They are unique, I will say that. Like how a McDonald's hamburger has that unmistakable taste, the same goes for Krispy Kreme.
They're expensive as fuck, but I ordered them in California, and they would come like perfect, almost still hot, perfectly glazed, wicked, fluffy, like never stale. I don't know, maybe I got lucky, but it was always insane.
So if you've never had a Krispy Kreme donut,
Always
I can't
insane.
do much in the way of describing it to you. It's one of a kind. The company identifies that taste as one of their brand elements, and I want to identify 3 of their brand elements that really seem to separate them from their competition. One was the taste. In 1937, the founder, Vernon Rudolph, bought the recipe from a French chef, and to my knowledge, it's the exact same one they use today. But I do want to give Vernon Rudolph a little more credit. I don't want you to think any less of him because he didn't come up with the recipe himself. For one, selecting and implementing the right recipe is no easy task, and for 2, he did team up with some engineers to invent and build the donut-making equipment, which would obviously have an impact on the taste. The second way they separate themselves is what they call donut theater, which is quite a dramatic label, but most of the Krispy Kreme locations make the donuts in the restaurant itself, and they make it visible to the customers, which has a ton of benefits. It acts as visual proof that they are indeed freshly made. It's a source of entertainment when you're waiting in line or sitting down to eat. It just adds to the overall experience.
I feel like this would create a hype for where I'm from, and then after like the novelty of it, it kind of died down super fast.
The third thing that
the
separates
fact that they
them
make it
is
in
their
front of you.
sign. It says, Hot Krispy Kreme Original Glazed Now. When the sign is lit up, it lets the public know that there was just a fresh batch of donuts made. Picture this. You're driving past a Krispy Kreme. You're not sure if you want to stop in or not, and you notice the sign. The fact that they're freshly made is just enough to tip the scales and convince you to stop. It's a great way to attract some impulse buyers. So now Krispy Kreme has a unique tasting product that's made on site in front of the customers, along with a great way to convey to the public when they're making it. It all came together to form a successful business. I said it all started in 1937, and for the next 60 years, not much happened. Their very first location was in North Carolina, and they didn't leave that southeast region until 1996. That's the year they opened their first store in New York City. In 1999, they expanded into California. The next year, they took the company public, meaning it was now on the stock exchange, and from there, things just went crazy. That public offering gave them the resources they needed to implement their plans of expansion. The next 4 years were a period of aggressive expansion. In the year 2000, they had 142 locations. By 2004, that number was up to 357. Just to state that in a way that gives a little more perspective, in their first 63 years, they opened 142 locations. In the next 4, they opened 215. And as you would expect, their revenue went up during that time as well, from 300 million to over 700 million. Just based on these figures, I would guess for many of the people watching this outside of that southeast region, the first time you heard about Krispy Kreme was during this time. They were popping up everywhere. Everyone loved their donuts.
We had one here in
was performing really well. They were sort of thought to be the next big fast food restaurant to emerge. This is where things went bad. And
they went out of business.
When I say things went bad, Krispy Kreme experienced one of the biggest falls that... Here, let me tell you about it. It actually started in May of 2004. You'll notice that they did slow their growth that year, and I held off on showing you their net income graph because that was already severely affected in 2004.
How?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy when you see it like that. A big part of the loss is actually from their sale of Montana Mills. It's a bread company that they had bought less than 2 years earlier. I think the best thing we can use to show their fall here is their stock price. Now, this isn't a perfect graph since I just plotted their trading price at the first trading day of each year, but it does show how much they fell in 2004. They were experiencing decreased sales, but the reason the stock market went down so rapidly is because of an accounting scandal. During this time, the SEC was conducting an investigation concerning aggressive accounting methods that were used to increase their earnings. The shareholders were filing lawsuits against them and their auditors, alleging similar things. Simply put, they were having trouble meeting their earnings expectations, and they allegedly used some accounting tricks to help meet them. As a result, they had to restate some things from their previous reports. They delayed issuing some of their quarterly reports. All of this is very bad when it comes to stock price, and the stock price is what determines the value of the company. Just think of it like this. They were so afraid.
Chat, who cares what the stock price is when they own the company and whatnot? I don't get it. They already got the initial money injection to do their projects, right? Who gives a fuck what the price is at? They already got the money out of it. The money that's not gonna print more.
Of delivering less than impressive earnings because it would upset the investors and make them want to sell their stock. That's a very common thing in the stock market.
The shareholders? Fuck the shareholders. What? I hate this like backwards like whole thing in the fuck the shareholders. They could suck the balls. They invest in a product. If it goes up, it goes up. If it goes down, it goes down. Suck my balls, pussy.
Well, now they weren't delivering any earnings results, and telling the investors that they can no longer rely on the results that they delivered earlier. Unless you're an investor that's okay with accepting high amounts of risk, you're selling your shares in Krispy Kreme, which is exactly what happened. So things were done that made their earnings appear higher than they actually were, but the question I have is why were their earnings low?
The shareholders own the company, or their own shares. So who cares if they're not liquidating their own shares? Then make a better product. Stop trying to hide it or manage it so it's better. Who cares? You're not selling your own. You're not liquidating it. So what's the problem?
To begin with, and I don't have a perfect answer for this, just some speculation. Their CEO at the time blamed it on people being more concerned with their health. Everyone was on a low-carb diet and no one wanted donuts anymore. I'd say that may have had a small impact, but probably not the best explanation. The more common belief is that the low earnings resulted from overexpansion.
What?
I already expressed how quickly they were expanding. The thought here is that they started opening locations too close to each other and the new locations were taking sales away from the older locations. I'm not completely sold on this explanation either. In 2005, they were up to 402 locations, of which 334 of them were in the United States. Now, I don't know how spread out.
How am I clueless? Chat. How do you understand it? The people who own the company, okay, the reason for them to go public, okay, they need liquidity. They need cash. They go public to get a cash injection, but it dilutes their shares because it increases the ratios, right? So then people have shares out in the public. People have shares of the company, right? In exchange for cash, right? They have the cash, they expand the company, they do shit, they use the cash. The stock price is gonna go down, they do bad, right?
Pepe Gabriel.
But if the stock price goes down, right, for them who are working at the company, who are doing this, who are doing the projects, who cares? They already got what the money means, they already got the liquid. So who gives a shit? The price goes down of the stock. Who cares? Because if I'm trying to make money, and you guys invest into me, and you guys give me $1 million right now, right?
Didn't ask.
Well, I don't give a fuck with what you think anymore. I got the $1 million.
How these locations actually were, but I like to think that the United States, loving Krispy Kreme as much as they do, has enough demand to justify 334 locations.
People say, you're ugly, your stream sucks. Okay, I still have the $1 million. Now what?
Dunkin' Donuts currently has over 9,000, but it is possible that the new locations were just poorly planned. Maybe most of them were in a health-conscious community where Krispy Kreme already existed. I don't know. Another common way to explain these low earnings is their sale of products outside of their restaurants. Krispy Kreme is known for their fresh, pleasant-smelling donuts, not their packaged donuts. So when they offered them like this in the supermarkets, it made people stop.
You have a legal obligation to make investors money. Okay, and then the government then should sue themselves. They owe me a bunch of money then. Then the government then should go to the court with themselves immediately. They owe me a fucking, yeah.
Caring as much. They
Like,
were
what are
no
you talking
longer
about?
something special that you can only get from the restaurant. You can get them anywhere. I think the idea is that people would pass up the restaurant because they knew they could
not
just
the
get them
same.
at the supermarket, but then when they were at the supermarket, they passed them up anyway because they're not drawn in by that fresh smell. And there's probably
Then most companies owe me money then. If the stock goes down, they have to make you money, right? Then they have to give me money, right?
some degree of
Like
merit
what?
to
You're
all
talking
these
about?
explanations. But despite having decreased earnings and a scandal that just sent their stock crashing down, they survived. Looking at their stock price over a longer
I don't
range,
get it.
we can see it continued dropping into 2006, but then started to go back up in 2007, only to start dropping again in 2008. In the beginning of 2009, it was trading for $1.65, but you have to remember, that was during a time where most stocks were struggling. Since then, they've been recovering. They were taken off the market in
You
2016.
guys all saying you don't know shit, but nobody's saying what the correction. Everything you're dumb, but nobody says any good takes.
When they were bought by a company named JAB. The selling price was right around $20 per share, totaling $1.35 billion, which is evidence of a recovery. Someone willing to pay that much is a good sign. The company that bought them, by the way, also now owns Panera, Keurig, and Dr. Pepper Snapple Group, among other things. Looking at Krispy Kreme's revenue over a longer range, it too bottomed out in 2009, but has increased every year since. And the net income tells a similar story, in that it's been positive every year since 2010. All three of these graphs perfectly depict a rise, a fall, and
Okay,
a rise again.
The 1 million you have, you already reinvested it. So you don't have 1 million. Yeah, but I don't get it though. Stocks are a gamble. It goes down, it goes down. It is what it is. Like, if I invest in a company and they lose money and the stock goes down in price, I'm not gonna say, yo, dude, you owe me money. I failed. I didn't invest in the correct stock. It is what it is.
The graph that stands out is their number of locations. through all these ups and downs, the only time they slowed their expansion was in 2006. Do you see how that's a little lower than 2005? That was right in the middle of their accounting issues and plummeting stock price, but every other year, they've been opening new locations. The difference now, compared to their struggling years, I suppose, is that it's now a much smarter expansion. If it was indeed way too concentrated before, or if the US just wasn't accepting any more than a few hundred locations, they've addressed it. I said in 2005 they had 334 domestic locations. Well, in 2015, they had only 297, meaning, despite what this graph looks like, there's actually now...
Guys, this is what I have to read in chat every day.
24 months.
No, it's not, lol. Unless you're a nobody, then it's a gamble. You can't predict the stock price. So, Aid, I assume that you're a billionaire since you know what stock will go up and down. You've been making investments that are so good that you're a billionaire, right? Wait a minute. You're not a billionaire. You're broke as fuck. Wait a minute. It's almost like stocks are kind of a gamble, right? And you have to take risks in order to make money. High risk, high reward type shit. And you can't predict the stock prices.
Fewer locations in the United States. These new locations are spread out all over in many different countries, and I suppose that's what we can attribute to their recovery. They found all these new markets.
If you could, you'd be rich as fuck.
Keep in mind, unless the new owners have done something miraculous over the past couple of years, Krispy Kreme is still nowhere near their peak by any measure. But considering how far they fell and how that momentum could have brought them even lower or even knocked them out completely, it's impressive to see a recovery like this. Let me know in the comments.
Yeah, they did pretty good
about all of this. The rise, fall, and rise again is pretty easy to see, but the explanation behind a lot of it isn't quite as clear. Why do you think they stopped selling as many donuts right around 2004? And to what do you attribute their recovery from all of this? Also, what are your thoughts on them overall? Are the donuts really as good as everyone makes them out to be? If everyone in the United States loves them as much as it seems, it's just weird that they would have so much trouble selling them back in 2004. And even today, they only have 300 locations across the country. How do you explain all of it? I'd like to hear what you have to say. Thank you for watching.
I enjoyed that. That was interesting. Okay.